the New York Knicks. I'm back in the New York groove. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York girl. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks is taking no shorts, just like winter. New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
It's episode 298 of the New York Knicks podcast.
298?
I've officially talked to you more than my parents.
We're really up to 298?
Yeah.
So if we do an episode next week before the draft, and then an episode afterwards, our 300th episode will be after the draft, and it'll either be a very happy episode or likely the most depressing episode ever.
Maybe we'll just do 299 and then quit.
Maybe.
So we have the Doc with us. How you doing, Doc?
Hey, everyone.
Doc's doing double duty. He did the Brink with us, and now he's doing Knicks with us. Go, Doc.
yeah, it was a while since I had done one, and I had to 2 in a row.
Amazing. So we you've come on the right show because we have got an episode and a half for you today.
I'm a little disappointed, actually. Not about Doc. I'm happy Doc is here, but I'm disappointed. If we had done a show, so we've done a show. Today is Saturday night. The game 5. All right, game 5 is tomorrow night. If we had done a show on Wednesday night, we could have gone on and on about how Dellavedova is the second coming of LeBron. But now that we're doing a show Saturday night, we can talk about how Dellavedova is trash and Cleveland didn't really allow him in the arena.
Well, I mean, we knew that he wasn't going to keep going like that.
I think people like no one expected him to do that all series. I think.
Yeah, no. I think people overreact. He's played his ass off. He's been awesome for what you expect from him. He wasn't even drafted. But
he's an effort player, yeah.
But people were kind of overreacting after his performance. It was huge, very helpful on Tuesday night. But people were kind of overreacting. Like Dellavedova is amazing. I mean, LeBron's lucky he has Dellavedova. Dellavedova it's nice that Dellavedova helps out LeBron. LeBron could learn a few things from him.
Well, they're like hurting for offense, so they can use it. They need anybody that can try to get a basket in. So.
I guess how's it feel as a Knicks fan to say that we gave them JR and Shumpert and they were like, we need offense. How about this Dellavedova guy?
That was the best part about Game 4 where LeBron sat and JR and Shumpert just took turns bricking threes.
Yeah.
I am glad to see that Shumpert and JR have contributed very little so far in the finals. That part makes me feel good.
Do you find it ironic at all that the Knicks are going to look to draft somebody as good as Mozgov?
I do kind of find that a little. I guess let me ask you, what is the last player the Knicks have either drafted or signed? And I mean guys who have signed out of free
agency,
not free agents, not signed on the team, but signed into the NBA. Who was better than Maz?
That stayed on the team?
No, just in general. Who's better NBA player? So Maz, he is where he is. The Knicks signed him into the NBA.
I still think David Lee.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? So who's the last player that the Knicks have signed into the NBA or drafted who has turned out to be a better player than Maz?
David Lee.
I was going to say David Lee, but did he wasn't on another team before?
No, he wasn't. Knicks drafted him. So isn't that going kind of far back?
Yeah, that's going like 10 years.
What was the rule? How far back can we go? Obviously.
I mean, basically, the fact that the Knicks signed him and let him go so easily just makes me angry, and the fact that the Knicks have not signed anyone else as good in a while makes me even more angry. I mean, the best.
They're really bad at evaluating who they have and who they need to keep, basically.
I mean, since Maz, you would say Shumpert, but Maz seems to be contributing more on Cleveland than Shumpert is, so I'd rather have Shumpert.
The problem is the Knicks are impatient because Maz was really, really raw when he was on the Knicks, but they didn't give him a chance to develop at all.
Well, the Knicks said everyone was like, Maz is a big project, and the Knicks are like, It's been an hour. Why is he still fouling too much? Why can't he score 20 points a game?
It's the ain't nobody got time for that method of.
Yeah, that's the Knicks scouting report for everyone on their team. Ain't nobody got time for that.
He's a young center, and we have no other center. Let's get rid of him as fast as possible.
Well, because 7-footers are all over the place. There's we'll get another one.
Yeah. There's so many good 7-footers out there that, and just because we probably won't have another one since. I mean, he's not a great player yet. He's not an all-star.
When you're like that tall, you don't need to be great. You need to be decent.
But he seems right now like a pretty good player and a guy that's going to get better and a guy that we'd be very happy to have. We'd be salivating to have in the Knicks.
He's not like most 7-footers. Like if you hand him the ball, they're like turn it over most of the time if they're not good. He's definitely not one of those players. So
if you had Maz on the team, you would say we don't need a center now. We're good at center.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a guy that plays solid defense, not amazing, but solid defense. Can get rebound. He can probably get you 10 points on a night, and he can catch a pass and throw it down. He can put back a rebound into the basket.
Yeah. Wait, they had Bargnani.
Well, two things there. He was on Toronto beforehand, and he sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, what, Timmy Hardaway? Maz is better than Timmy Hardaway.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Priggs I've liked, but I'd rather have Maz than Priggs.
Oh, that's true. Technically, Priggs, the first time he was in the NBA was with the Knicks.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a pretty depressing thought.
Do you find it weird that it took Steve Kerr 2.5 games to realize that David Lee's better than Festus Ezeli?
Oh, I was saying, like, before they put David Lee that game, I'm like, why aren't they playing him more? Because they need the size.
It did make sense to play Spites and Ezeli over David Lee.
Well, no, actually, I didn't understand. I felt like the Golden State seemed to play best when they went small. Why didn't they go small more often? Like, why did it take them till game 4 to realize we should go small more often?
Well, they were getting killed on rebounds, and like the first few games, I think the height was hurting them.
Yeah, they were getting destroyed on the boards, but going big kind of ruined their offensive flow.
Yeah,
right.
I guess they have to go to one extreme or the other. Like they were kind of in the middle the first few games, I think.
Right, but then again, like last game when they went small, they killed Cleveland. Well, they actually no, they lost on rebound. I guess you don't need the rebounding if you're making shots.
Well, yeah, it's about the shots. I mean, they were missing shots the first 3 games, and then the fourth game, they went on a hot streak. And
well, part of the problem was the Bogut on offense. Bogut's a good defensive player, but on offense, they were kind of like when he touched the ball, he'd be like, "What am I doing with the ball? Here, take it." He just wouldn't really do anything on offense, and that kind of hurts the team when the guy's not playing offense.
Yeah,
it seems like the Cavs presented problems that Golden State wasn't used to most of the season.
Well, I think the thing is, Bogut's a really good defender, but Mozgov's not a huge offensive threat, so you don't need a guy like Bogut in that situation.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's basically you could go with like Draymond Green guarding Maz because it's not going to be they're not going down low to Maz continuously.
Right, even though he did get 28 points and lead the team in scoring, but still, you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. That's fair. He did actually have his best night when they were not trying to guard him. And LeBron just shot poorly. That kind of helped also.
Well, that was other big move.
I think game 4, it's like you can overreact to it, but, Golden State, started shooting well, and the Cavs shot horribly, all of them. So.
Well, to me, it seemed like the guy who's done the best job of guarding LeBron has been Iguodala, so it seemed like you wanted him out there more.
Yeah, I guess starting him was a big thing.
Yeah, maybe that was the bigger change or bigger key. Not that LeBron is shooting amazingly the whole series, but he definitely...
I think he made him work harder. That's the difference,
Yeah, that's kind of I guess it's also catching up on them. Playing like 40 minutes a night is catching up on LeBron a little bit.
That's a shame.
I also think LeBron was just exhausted, too. I mean, he's playing like 46 minutes a game or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, Dellavedova played his way into the hospital, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
With those cramps. You think would you rather have? Dellavedova or Langston Galloway?
Jay?
As Doc is like, Who's Langston Galloway?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not the best. I don't know all the players.
I get my I don't know who's actually maybe Deladova is better. I feel like Langston Galloway is very similar to Deladova, without the dirtiness.
Yeah, he seems very good on defense.
Yeah, Galloway's pretty good. If you look at all the stats, what Galloway does well is make guys shoot worse than they normally do.
Both of them, Deladova and Galloway, are both good on defense, and both leave much to be desired on offense.
Right. But I feel like you can have a guy like that playing big minutes for you as long as you have other guys that can score. I guess two things. That means we probably shouldn't go after Deladova since we already have Langston Galloway.
Yeah.
And also, we can give Galloway big minutes if we find other guys on the court that can score.
Yeah, like Deladova is a good complement to a LeBron team, because he doesn't require the ball. He does all the other, he does a lot of the other stuff.
Yeah, I would say right now they have. I mean, obviously, you'd like to have Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love back, but they've made the team is a pretty good complement to him. I mean, you have the whole team.
They were better on defense, when Irving went out, so they kind of made up for it.
That's the thing. Love and Irving are really bad on defense, so I don't know if this is as big of a deal with them out as people are making it, just because they're a way, way, way better defensive team now.
They've really slowed. They've made Golden State play their game most of the time. Like they've just slowed. Golden State doesn't get the fast breaks anymore. I mean, you have a guy like. Sorry,
I think Golden State could have swept them if Irving was in. It's a possibility, because they would have been better on offense.
Yeah, Curry would have been stomping Irving.
Right, having Deladova on Curry's made a big difference. Between Shumpert and Deladova both to play pretty decent D. You have Maz, who's pretty decent. You have guys out there who are giving LeBron. That's the biggest thing you're going to help LeBron with, is the fact you're having guys that are going to play solid D with him.
All right, let's go to some emails and stuff. We got to move. I'm not doing an hour show.
We're doing 3 hours tonight, Jay.
All right, so Ian, who also is writing a really good 4-part draft preview. I just posted part 1 today on the website, thenewyorknickspodcast.com.
We will also be having our draft preview episode next week.
Next episode, stay tuned. So
episode 299.
He sent a picture of Melo, and it says, scored 44 points, but JR and Shump let him down. Welcome to my world, LeBron.
Do you think, so if LeBron was on this team from day one with the Knicks, would they have made the playoffs?
Yes.
Yeah.
Anything with LeBron, I mean, you'd have to have really bad players surrounding him to not make the playoffs.
I mean, the Knicks had pretty bad players, but I feel like if you're going to start the season, you have Shump and JR staying with LeBron, and then the Knicks had enough other players on that team that
that's enough to make the playoffs. Yeah.
He could have got them to the 8th seed in the East. No offense to Melo, LeBron. I have been super impressed with LeBron. More
as douchey as he is, he's ridiculously good.
Yeah, I mean, we all realize
he
going in.
requires so much, attention on defense. It totally distorts the other team's ability to, guard the rest of the players.
Yeah, and he also is a great playmaker. So there's so many passes he throws that his teammates just don't convert.
I think he had more assists in the playoffs than Melo did all season.
Probably. There were some times where he sets his teammate up, and you're like, why? They should just give LeBron an assist anyway, because that was a great pass.
Yeah.
I have to say, if he pulls this off and wins this series, he doesn't make him better than Michael, but Michael never did anything like this.
Right.
Yeah.
To go in with all your good, Michael was never missing Pippen for the finals.
Yeah, I mean, Jordan never had a team this bad. He never had to win with a team this bad.
Right. Yeah, he had a team this bad, and it was the '89 Bulls who didn't do anything. Yeah,
I mean, we agree that it's this team is better defensively, but it's still not a team that should win the finals. The Golden State should definitely beat them, and so I don't know. It's very impressive how well he's played in this series.
Nicholas writes,
What do you think about the coaching? Do you think what do you think about the two coaches versus each other in terms of strategy?
You mean Steve Kerr and LeBron?
Yeah, Steve Kerr and LeBron.
Do you think LeBron likes Blatt?
I think he likes Blatt. I just think he's like, I get the ball at the end. I'll listen to Blatt until the final 2 minutes, and then I get to take over.
He's like, you're the coach as long as you know I have veto power.
Right, exactly.
I think both coaches have done a good job. I mean, Kerr's been a little slow to adapt, but
Right. Yeah.
hey, the series
He
is
made
2-2, so
Is Sean Marion dead?
yes.
I mean, there's like 6 healthy guys on the Cavs, and Marion's still not playing.
I guess, what is he, 38 now?
He's like 36, 30, yeah, something like 36.
Yeah, I guess he's kind of.
I feel like it's worth a shot to play him.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good defender.
Mike Miller's playing.
What's the deal with David Lee? How come like he wasn't playing most of the games in the playoffs and stuff? Was he just injured or something? Or
He got injured early in the season, and then they went on this huge. I think they started off like 23-2, and
okay.
so Kerr's just like, I'm not changing anything ever.
right?
Even though like Lee is clearly better than Ezeli and Spites.
Yeah.
Marion's 37.
Nicholas Wright, he's 37.
Yeah.
Okay. The Knicks take Willie Cauley-Stein with the 4th overall pick. That way, they keep him from Orlando and Detroit. Then they trade Hardaway Jr., Calderon, and a trade exception of $2 million to Orlando and take Winslow. They may have to throw in early. We don't need 2 Anthonys.
Wait.
Why would Orlando do this?
I think you are really, really overestimating the value of Hardaway Jr. and Calderon.
No, I think we're misreading this. I think he means we're throwing with. So Orlando, was Orlando pick 5th?
Yes. 5th or 6th.
So he's saying, or
No, he's saying we trade Hardaway Jr., Calderon, and a trade exception for Winslow.
read it again. There's no way he's asking that. There's no way he just said to us, and then we give 3 magic beans to Orlando for their draft pick.
Yeah.
Yes.
Read it again.
The Knicks take Willie Cauley-Stein with the 4th pick. That way they keep him from Orlando and Detroit. Then they trade Hardaway Jr., Calderon, and a trade exception of $2 million to Orlando and take Winslow. They may have to throw in Clay Anthony early.
If it works on the trade machine, it's real.
They may have to also throw in Willie Cauley-Stein.
I don't know how the trade goes down without throwing in Willie Cauley-Stein. I guess maybe the trade involves trading Melo. Why in the world would they give up Winslow for our garbage?
Yeah.
It's like,
from the Knicks' perspective, definitely they should do that. But
I mean, if from the Knicks' perspective, that's how trades work, then I'm going to trade Langston Galloway for
LeBron James or something.
yeah. Why not? Why not?
John writes, a couple shows back, you asked for ideas of how to get rid of tanking. Sorry this is late, but this is how it goes. Instead of the 3 worst teams getting the highest chance at the top pick, give the best chance to the best 3 teams who missed the playoffs, and so on in descending order by record. The worst team, if not top 3, would be guaranteed the 14th pick, second worst the 13th pick, and so on. That would be a big boost for teams who are on the cusp of making the playoffs, and it would help draftees be more marketable as they would be drafted better teams. Also, the lower-end teams who don't mind picking 14th every year would have to pay a futility fine if they miss the postseason 5 straight years. They'll need to invest in a good front office. I mean, if you have 4 straight lottery picks and don't have a superstar eating up your cap space, evident by your always being in the lottery, then you should make the playoffs if you care. If you don't care, you just want to make money, it should cost you to tarnish the NBA brand and torturing your fan base. Lastly, there should be 50% amnesty to each team annually to buy out bad contracts. 50% meaning you can amnesty a player and buy him out, but only 50% of his salary counts against your cap.
So a couple things in that. The first point about the reverse draft.
Mm-hmm.
If the Knicks say we're going to have, they said they have 39 wins last day of the season. If they win tonight, they get the 8th seed. If they lose, they end up with the best odds for the number 1 pick.
Yeah, the team. I would rather miss the playoffs.
Yeah, I would think a lot of teams would be encouraged to tank right there. What do you think, Jay?
You would have teams tanking out of the playoffs, yeah, and you would also have a team like Oklahoma City who got a couple injuries. Now you're going to have, Durant,
Yeah,
Westbrook, and like a number 1 pick.
I feel like that would be worse. That'd be worse tanking from the NBA.
Yeah,
Because
like,
at the end of
like Indiana would have gotten like the first pick, right, or something in that scenario. Like this year.
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like no matter what, with tanking, with or without tanking, Philadelphia versus the Knicks. No, last week of the season, no one gives a shit unless you're a huge Knicks or Philly fan, and no one really cares. It's hard to get people to care.
My idea is it should go in the, like, as soon as you get eliminated, that's your position, and then the rest of the year it doesn't matter. So it should go in the order of when teams get eliminated.
Oh, so in other words, you tank until April 6th, and now I'm eliminated. I've got the first seed, and I can start playing regularly.
Yeah, I mean, at least you get like the second half, or whatever part of the season.
I guess you're saying basically you lock in your draft position, and at that point you can play, do whatever you want.
Well, like a really bad team will get eliminated earlier.
Yeah, no. I know what you're saying. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I think the top 10 teams should all get an 8% chance, and then the last 4 teams get a 5% chance.
You know my problem with all this is my idea is far superior than anything, and not to gloat and say my idea is the best, but it really is. Have the bottom 4 teams play a tournament, winner takes number 1 pick. That would be amazing. Doc, would you not tune in to see the best of 7 series for the Knicks versus Philly to see who gets the number 1 pick?
I would not tune in.
You would not, really?
I would not watch.
What if it was a 1 game? It was just instead of a 7-game series, it's 1 game, winner take all, number 1 pick. Winner gets Towns.
I mean, but you still have like the Knicks team that they put out this year.
Well, either way, you're gonna have the Knicks team that put out this. Either way, they're gonna be really
Yeah, it's just they weren't. I don't know.
They were. I guess the question is, were they? I mean, all the guys they traded were going to be traded anyway, or they weren't.
Yeah.
They weren't encouraged to keep Shumpert or Jr. It just would have been nice if they gotten more for them, and that's more of a being bad at trading than anything else.
I mean, watching the Knicks this year was like watching just like a random team. Like I didn't even know any of the players.
Yeah, no, watching the Knicks this year was truly fucking painful. So what was his second idea?
A 50% amnesty every year?
No. It was the fining teams that don't go to the playoffs for 5 straight years.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna like end up just punishing teams that they're just gonna be continuously like bad, and then they're just gonna get worse. And, like,
well,
some
I
teams
mean,
will
the
just
idea
never be able to get out of it.
Well, the idea that maybe that punishes more a team like Philly, which is being purposely bad for 5 years.
Yeah, but you're gonna get teams also that are just they can't help being bad.
Yeah, you're going to have the teams that are run by Michael Jordan just being bad continuously out of incompetence. But maybe that, like, if you're doing it for 5 years and you just got a huge fine from the NBA, maybe that encourages your owner to say everyone's fired.
I feel like that'll just bankrupt teams, like, or I don't know. I mean, if you're already doing bad and then you get a punishment,
The idea I like best of his ideas is the amnesty.
that part was decent. Sounded.
I feel like teams should have an amnesty every 3. What are you doing there, Jay?
Sorry, I'm watching Porzingis shooting drills. Sorry.
Whatever. That was me.
I like the
Porzingis.
amnesty idea. I think that would help.
Yeah, I think things are heavily skewed toward the players in general in the NBA. It's crazy in football. Like, every year you show up and you're too fat or something, they just cut you basically, no matter what your contract says. I don't know how that works.
It's the contracts are all not guaranteed. You get some players are good enough to get some guaranteed money, but the rest of it's not guaranteed, so they can cut you. I remember there was a case where what was it? Donovan McNabb was playing. I think the Redskins and signed him for his big contract and then cut him like 3 weeks later.
They're like these big players that they don't get guaranteed contracts.
It's amazing because football also, your career goes so much faster than the NBA.
Yeah, and you're much more prone to like a career-ending injury in football than basketball.
I guess it's like the extremes. Like in the NBA, they're too far to the guaranteed end, and the NFL they're 2 not guaranteed.
Yeah, so I'm all for like the teams getting some sort of way of getting out of bad contracts.
Do you realize the cap is going to go up like $30 million?
It's crazy.
I mean, that's going to be really change the NBA, or just change. That'll be just really interesting because everyone will have so much more money for free agents.
Yeah,
Jay, are you just touching yourself to Porzingis video
I'm
now?
still watching Porzingis videos. SI did a mock draft, and they have the Knicks taking Porzingis at number 4.
How does Porzingis? Let me put a go on a Porzingis
I
video.
just
How does
sent-
Porzingis look?
I just sent you guys the link to his shooting drill. He looks ridiculous.
Did you see the Cauley Stein shooting drill?
No, I've just been watching Porzingis shooting drills.
Oh, watch that right now. Find that right now. It is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would be shocked. Whatever Porzingis is doing, Willie Cauley Stein does the exact same thing.
All right.
I kind of want to draft Willie Cauley Stein after seeing this video. Doc, have you seen this?
Sure.
Okay. Okay, let me send this back.
I don't know too much about the draft players. But
All right. So we are. Our email is nyknickspodcast@gmail.com. Our Twitter is @nyknickspodcast. Trent writes, an NBA scout has called Porzingis the best player in the draft. You were right, Jay. I know. Joe writes, like this trade, Calderon for Chalmers and Napier.
Sure.
yeah, why not?
Yeah, I mean,
Well, first of all, isn't Mario Chalmers the greatest player to ever play in the NBA?
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
and
Can we really get that?
you got a young point guard. You get rid of Chalmers' Calderon's horrible contract.
Chalmers actually plays better defense.
Yeah, I mean,
Which is
our
not
point
hard.
guard rotation would still suck, but it would be better.
Yeah. Well, we haven't really seen that much of what Napier can do. He hasn't. I mean, he's played for 1 year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 1 year. Miami's like, we drafted a point guard for you. I'm out of here anyhow.
Mm-hmm. Steve writes, on a scale from 1 to totally JR, where does shooting 2 for 12, 0 for 8 from 3, 4 points rank?
It ranks in the same place I rank riding on your scooter throughout the arena beforehand.
Or taking warm-up shots with your hoodie on?
What an
I would say if you throw in a technical, that's the perfect
Yeah.
JR game, right?
Or just fouling someone for no reason.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, add a couple of those.
You wonder if he just if LeBron just texted Melo and was like, you were right.
Yeah. Steven, not the same Steve, different one. 2 questions. Do you guys really think the NBA is rigged?
The draft, yes.
I don't think the NBA is rigged, but I think there's definitely star calls, so it skews it toward the teams with more popular players.
Yeah, I think
fair.
based on things we found out, it's not unreasonable that there's some sort of, illegal favoritism going on.
Right.
somewhere.
Like, you could beat LeBron's team, but you have to, if it's a close game, you're probably going to lose because of the calls. But, it's not like they're not being blatant about it, but they're being subtle. They're they're nudging it in certain ways.
I
But
mean,
don't
it's hard to
think
tell if the refs are just incompetent and inconsistent, like wildly inconsistent, or they're just doing it on purpose. Because it seems like it's changing from game to game.
Yeah.
Well, they do things where they say they see a player go drive to the basket. When he doesn't make the shot, they assume he must have been fouled.
Yeah, it's like they're not looking, but they are 70 years old. Like some of the refs.
Yeah, that
How
too.
old
I
is
don't
Joey
think.
Crawford?
Yeah, I don't think we should have 70-year-old refs either. That's a good point.
Okay, I'm sending this to you guys.
Part
You guys
2. Do you guys believe LeBron takes steroids or HGH?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, but no.
I mean, he looks like he does, but
He's always looked like that since high school, though.
yeah. Well, he could have done steroids. I don't know.
That is totally a fair point. But here,
I
why?
mean, a
I
lot of
think he
kids
does.
actually did do steroids in high school. But
I think he does.
But why?
Why?
do they test him regularly, or what's the
No,
protocol?
they test I think twice during the season and once in the off season. But the way the
it's very
NBA does
easy.
it, you get a heads up. So you have to be really fucking stupid to get caught.
Click on this link I sent you
I'm
from Willie
watching.
Cauley
I
Stein.
see, this is how you do a show. You can do stuff while also.
I
Talking.
can't multitask. We need
I
to talk
know.
about just the Willie Cauley Stein video. Just watch. This guy
I send
is just
stuff to Mark, and there's just silence because you can't do 2 things. I'm watching and talking.
Is he not making every shot? Is this what Porzingis was doing?
Yeah, you didn't watch. My clip was 16 seconds. You couldn't watch that.
Well, I've been salivating over this video. Stock, you can't. You're on their phone. You can't pull this. I can't send this to you. He's just. I mean, the guy is 7 foot. He's insanely athletic. He's supposed to be a really good defender. I'm kind of leaning towards the Willie Cauley Stein's camp, and almost feeling like we could trade down and get him.
We could definitely trade down and get him because I don't think he's getting drafted before 7.
Well, the thing is that we can't actually trade the pick until we actually have made it. So we could basically just make a deal with Orlando and just swap picks and get someone else a value,
Right.
or whoever else wants him, I guess. But I feel like he might be a guy that's his potential might be a lot higher than people think.
Do you think Phil Jackson will be awake during the draft?
I think Phil Jackson will be swimming in his money, a la Scrooge McDuck.
I think it's a good thing we're picking in the top 5, or else he might be falling
He
asleep.
might have just fallen asleep or
Yeah.
something.
I mean, really, this Porzingis 16-second video where he makes 3 shots is what you're so excited about?
Well, there was multiple ones of that.
Yeah, he's like Porzingis is a poor man's Willie Cauley-Stein. I know nothing about Porzingis. I feel like he reminds me too much of Bargs, being that he's from Europe.
That's so racist.
It's,
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I would be nervous, like, if anyone could end up being like Barks, but, I mean, it sounds like a different player.
okay, next question.
All right, so Cauley-Stein is hitting like every single shot.
It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
And he used to play wide receiver. Football. The dude is super, and they say he's supposed to be, like, they say he's a project on the offense. Apparently he could shoot, though. And on defense, he's supposed to be a stud. He's supposed to be as good as Towns on defense.
Hingle McCringle writes, how could you say there wasn't enough Knicks to do a podcast this week when this news broke? And it's a story about how Chris Smith said being on the Knicks nearly broke him. Did you hear about that?
It nearly broke us all, Chris.
All the people like making fun of him and getting on his case on Twitter and stuff gave him really bad anxiety attacks, and he couldn't sleep at night, and apparently he was a mess. He went to the ER 3 times with like his intense anxiety.
Okay, well, I'm pretty sure he couldn't have handled the NBA if us writing bad things about him on Twitter broke him.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I mean, that's kind of just a sign of him not being suited for the NBA.
That and having no NBA skills.
Tom writes, would you swap our pick for Joel Embiid?
Embiid. Joel Embiid.
He was the number 1 pick last year who was out the whole season with an injury, so we have no idea like if he's any good.
Was he? No, I think he was number 3 or number 2.
Oh, right. Yeah, he wasn't number 1. He was.
But well, here's a question. Before you answer that, would you swap our pick for Noel Norleans, whatever the hell his name is?
No.
That's a no, okay? Mm-hmm. But wouldn't it make more sense to swap for him than Embiid? Because at least Noel's like healthy.
Yeah, I want to see who falls into the 4th pick, though. Like, if we could get D'Angelo Russell, I want D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah, I mean, both those guys. If you're going to talk about players that I would trade for, both those guys would be in the conversation. Guys, basically rookie contracts and tremendous upside, and good defensive players.
Right. Let's see. There aren't that many great free agents the Knicks should get. The Knicks should get mid-tier players on 1-year deals to keep flexibility for 2016. Thoughts on that?
I don't think you even need to do that because 2016 they're adding $30 million to the cap, so you can just.
Yeah, but I think the point is, since there's not that many free agents, do you try and get one, which would probably make it so that you have to pay him almost a max contract to get him, just to get a guy, or do you just get like mid-tier players and then try and get a better guy next year?
Well, I kind of feel like you have 2 teams on that right now playing in the finals. You have the Golden State, which kind of got lucky in some sense, and it has a bunch of superstars on the team, or a bunch of star players. And you have Cleveland, where you have one amazing player surrounded by a bunch of very good complementary players. I don't know. I don't know why I just said very good and
Very good. Yeah, I was going to say.
no, but you have I guess basically you have complementary players. That might be a better way to design a team. Instead of going for another I guess agreeing with the point of why don't we go for mid-tier guys, even if it's a 3-year contract for a guy that's going to be like a solid contributor as opposed to going for max guys.
Yeah, I'd rather do that than pay Greg Monroe max money.
Yeah.
It depends on the actual players, too. I mean, if you think about it, that's what the Knicks tried to do. They got Carmelo and a bunch of complementary players, and obviously that didn't work out because it's Carmelo.
Well, part of the problem with that was also that you got Carmelo, but you still had Amari's giant contract.
Yeah, it's Amari's contract. Yeah.
Yeah, if the Knicks had gotten Chandler were able to amnesty Melo, then you would have been able to. You would have said Chandler, Melo, and add a third guy, and the team could have been pretty good.
Yeah, that's true. Let's see. I know we have no chance of getting Cousins, but you could sound more into the idea. He's a top 10 player on a cheap contract. You sound like old men when you moan about his attitude, which to me just makes him more.
Isn't Cousins about to get a max deal?
One, he's about to get a max deal, and two, the game I saw him playing, he looked like he just did not give a crap, and it's not. Well,
he's taken Sacramento pretty far into the playoffs, so I understand why you'd want him on the Knicks.
Yeah.
He seems like a very good player, but I do think he could be a little overrated. Actually, I would love to have him. I would love to have him. If you were talking about Calderon and Timmy Hardaway for him, then I do it.
Right.
But if we have to throw in Cle Anthony early, then I'm not doing it.
Let's see. I think that is.
Are you still watching Cauley-Stein nail shots?
He's still hitting them.
Isn't it ridiculous? This almost feels like there's CGI on this. There has to be. This kid doesn't make sense how many shots he's making. Like there should be random camera cuts where like they cut to a different angle. You're like, isn't he wearing a different jersey?
Let's see. That's it for Twitter. Let's do Facebook because we're running late.
Okay, we only have we have iTunes reviews. 2 reviews. First by Yanni Casitas. Amazing show, 5 stars. If you like the Knicks, may God have pity on your soul and a good laugh. This is the podcast to listen to. Love listening to these guys. Keep it up. This is by Breezy Schleege, the best of Knicks, of everything Knicks. The podcast is so amazing. I often find myself losing sleep Sunday nights in anticipation of the next day's episode. It's becoming a big problem. I do, however, think it's funny that under the podcast subscription information to the left, it says clean lyrics. There's nothing more dirty and inappropriate than talking about the Knicks out loud where everyone can hear you. That's pretty funny.
It's awesome. I want to thank everybody for the iTunes reviews. We made it into the top 20 in professional sports podcasting last week because of the iTunes reviews.
Jay, and Doc, do you know what I'm wearing right now?
What are you wearing? I hope it's something.
Guess what I'm wearing? I'm wearing something that makes me feel like a true man.
The T-shirt?
Yeah, I'm wearing a New York Knicks podcast T-shirt.
All right.
I finally got my T-shirt. We went over to do the break episode at Jay's place. I picked up my T-shirt, brought it home, and now I'm wearing it. So you too can experience the joy of wearing a New York Knicks T-shirt. Tell them how, Jay.
You can go to the NewYorkKnicksPodcast.com, and there is a store link, and you can get a shirt there.
Cauley-Stein is still hitting shots. Go on.
18 including shipping, or if you want to throw an extra 5, you could get a Brink of Sanity shirt along with it.
Facebook. Stone writes, not really a question, just want to put out a reminder that Shumpert and JR have been terrible through the first 4 games of the finals.
Cool.
Yeah, cool. William writes, how would you guys feel if there was a mass shooting and the shooter had a New York Knicks podcast T-shirt on? Doc, what do you think?
Free publicity?
I would love to see like people on CNN being like, back to the situation room. Wolf Blitzer. What is the New York Knicks podcast?
Yeah, what is this? People would check it out.
We're all just like, the shooting is terrible. We feel really terrible about this, but we appreciate all the publicity.
Would you like to buy a shirt?
Would you like to buy a shirt? Wolf Blitzer cuts to us, and Jay's like, Wolf, can you write a review on iTunes for us?
I think you might sell a few more shirts.
I think so, yeah.
If that happens.
Jay, how would you feel if your shirt starts being sold? The shirts all sell out, but it turns out the guys buying them are now all like skinheads.
The shirts are out of my room, right?
What if ISIS makes it their shirt of choice?
Well, there's a lot of them. I might actually have to reorder some shirts.
There's a beheading video, and the guy doing the beheading is wearing a Knicks podcast shirt. Like, God damn it, he's a listener. I don't want to insult my listeners, but I appreciate less head cutting off videos.
Yeah, more publicity.
But I appreciate you wearing it in your well-aimed your well-produced social media campaign, ISIS. Paul writes, how bad would Delhi be if he was on the Knicks? Deladova.
He would be as bad as all our other shooting guards.
He'd be Langston Galloway. He'd be. I don't see.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Delhi would really work well on a team without like a superstars.
Yeah.
You know why?
Well, I mean, he's like a good complementary player. I don't think if your primary offense is Deladova, you have a problem.
Oh, yeah. No, I guess I thought you meant like he wouldn't work well with Melo.
Oh yeah, I mean they have Melo when he comes back, but
Yeah.
I just think it'd be all right.
He could be a decent guy. I mean, I wouldn't go out there and like sign him right now just because we already have Galloway.
They need more like if they had the right pieces, other pieces. I guess he could be part of it.
Yeah, he seems like a nice piece to have. George writes, Chris Stapps has been Porzingis has been dazzling everyone in the workouts. A lot of scouts are saying that he may be the best player in the draft. He's better than Towns. If he's available, you think we should just bite the bullet and take a chance. We are the Knicks. What else could go wrong? Chase Monroe or Millsap? Front line of Melo, Monroe, Millsap, and Porzingis would be okay, and then look to get a decent backcourt with some decent money left over. Is Porzingis supposed to be a good defensive player?
He's supposed to be all right. He can block shots. I mean, I don't know how he would do against like the stronger guys in the league right now, but they say he's pretty decent on defense.
Do you feel like basically this comment might have like been taken from like 15 years ago, like with saying, well, everyone's saying this French guy is the best guy in the draft?
No, nobody said
that. I mean, he might be good. I have just no idea. The video, any more videos of him that look amazing?
No, not yet.
Okay, I'm a dog writes, can we put a limit for listeners' questions? A max of 3 questions should be enough. 14 seems too much. Sorry, Greg. Apparently, Greg wrote a lot of questions. Grant writes, we're going to, right now, until we're going to put no limits, basically. Doc, should we put limits?
No, I think you're good.
Okay, Grant writes, JR seems to be playing worse every game. Is Phil a genius for getting rid of him?
Who's playing worse every game?
JR.
Oh, well, I mean, I think that was a no-brainer to get rid of him. I wouldn't call that genius.
I think Phil would be a genius if he got something for him. Greg writes, do you also listen to other podcasts? What podcasts do you listen to?
I only listen to one other podcast. It's the Uncanny X-Cast, and it's a X-Men podcast.
Doc?
I listen to some tech podcasts like on CNET and other YouTube people. But yeah,
okay.
The tech guy.
Someone recommended the Dave Ramsey show. I listened to that a couple times. Sometimes Freakonomics listen to a little bit, and Radiolab I kind of like. Okay. Greg writes, did you watch NBA TV documentary Clutch City, the Rockets championship run? We almost had the 94 trophy. Did you guys watch that series?
Yeah, but I would never watch a documentary on that Rockets team.
Yeah, why would you want to watch that?
I mean, I was like a super crazy Knicks fan back then. I watched every minute of that series.
Yeah, no, I think he's like, because that was the one that obviously the one that was interrupted by the OJ thing, so that part was interesting.
Yeah.
Greg writes, hot or not, and this is a ESPN cover magazine with...
Is that Ronda Rousey?
Yeah, Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, hot.
Yeah, kind of. Which one's... So you're saying there's a what do they call it? UFC Ultimate Fighting fighter that's a man in a woman's body?
Yeah, I wish I found that story before yesterday's episode. There's a guy who now identifies as a woman, so he's a female MMA fighter and he's kicking everybody's ass, but it's a guy.
That's not fair.
Just because you say you're a girl, like
no, that's not cool.
No.
Yeah, I feel like you shouldn't be able to cross those lines. It's one thing to cross
the thing is, like when you're growing up, like you still get the advantage of like developing as a male. So even if you become a female, it doesn't.
Exactly. He's got the skeletal structure of a guy. He doesn't have that beautiful, beautiful structure of Ronda Rousey.
So to bring this back to the NBA, would it be fair if the current Knicks roster all got operations and went and dominated WNBA? And would you root for that team?
I don't even think you need an operation.
And they wouldn't dominate the WNBA also.
Even in the WNBA, everyone's like, Melo can't get it done in the playoffs.
Yeah, they'd still be like the 8th seed.
William responded to this by saying, hell yeah, I would eat her groceries. Urban word for ass. Thank you, William. I could have guessed what groceries meant. Nils writes, can the NBA fine offensive players for flopping? That LeBron flop, the camera in Game 4 was embarrassing.
Yeah, he was trying to flop and then ended up going headfirst into a camera. It was almost like karma wanted that to happen.
I don't remember. Did Jordan ever flop?
I don't think so. I don't remember it.
LeBron flopping is one of the more embarrassing things he does.
Yeah.
Greg writes, would you pick Russell or Okafor? And Bleacher Report had said draft prospect D'Angelo Russell cancels his Sixer workout, prompting questions on whether he might go 1 or 2.
I would pick Russell over Okafor.
Maybe he just doesn't want to play for the Sixers. Who'd you take, Russell or Okafor?
Russell.
I would take Russell or Okafor. Doc, any idea?
No, I don't have any contribution to this.
William writes they both won't make it to 4. So there's a chance that now people are making the rumor that Okafor will drop to the Knicks because they'll say, I guess they're saying Towns, Russell, and then Moutier, and then Okafor dropping. If Okafor drops, would you take Okafor, Winslow? I guess would you take Okafor or someone else?
Okafor or
yeah, basically the only guys that go are Moutier, Russell, and Towns. Everyone else is left. You take.
I guess you take Okafor. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I worry about him. He does look. Obviously, he looks like a extremely talented offensive player.
Yeah. Really worried about his defense.
Really worried about his defense. Really worried about how well he played with Melo, even though that shouldn't be as important.
Yep.
William writes they both won't make it to 4. George writes it doesn't matter. Don't mean anything. Russell could have one leg, and the Sixers would draft him without a workout.
Let's not do all the replies to all the comments.
Screw you. Greg writes, still can't be DM.
Okay.
Still can't be DMD'd because of that tweet. LOL. Tweet him. How's it going? K. I don't filter anything. I don't read anything ahead of time.
You're killing me, Mark. You're killing me.
Okay. Greg writes, reason number 769,058. Why I hate LeBron. And this is LeBron jumped to the cameraman. Greg writes, posts like this make me glad I paid my internet bill this month. Breaking news, Brian Windhorst reporting both LeBron's heads are fine. Check the top one with his eyes, bottom one with his mouth. Okay. Doc, are you glad they showed LeBron's dick on the last broadcast?
Yeah, it's always important to have one camera just dedicated to the crotch region.
Do you think
there could be some breaking news going on there? So,
do you think in the back room they were like, "We got it, guys"?
Yeah, the whole year they've had this dedicated camera on his crotch, and they finally got it.
The producer was like, "I told you guys to metaphorically be on LeBron's dick."
Greg writes, have you guys watched Insidious 3? Greg apparently just writes anything he wants to ask. Greg, listen to Brink and write these questions on Brink. Greg writes, dirty motherfucker for LeBron again. Greg writes, LeBron should be punished on showing his dick on live TV by not winning the title this year, hopefully ever. I don't think it was LeBron's fault. Greg writes, have you guys watched this before? The Reggie Miller versus the Knicks, 30 for 30.
That's
Greg
another
writes,
thing I don't think I'd want to watch.
I saw it at the gym one day. It was pretty good, even though the Knicks lost. Greg writes, Mark, can you take a picture of your son's poster? You know, the one that includes comic book heroes. Thanks. Sure, I'll do that for Brink. Greg writes, go Warriors. My West Coast team is having a West Coast team acceptable.
Yeah, well, I've had a West Coast team for the last 11 years.
Who's your West Coast team, Jay?
Well, I started in 2003 when I was rooting for Sacramento. Then it went, after a couple years, I switched to Phoenix, and then now I'm on Golden State.
Doc, is Jay a traitor?
I don't know about the Golden State thing. It seems a little bit front runnery.
David Lee. As soon as they traded for David Lee, I started. Okay. It was not like a month ago. I'm like, I love Golden State.
Oh yeah,
that's true. That's true.
67 wins. I think it'll be a Golden State fan.
No, as soon as they traded for David Lee, I adopted them.
And then we didn't play him this year.
Right.
Greg,
you always have to have a second team because the Knicks are always bad.
Greg also. Yeah, I mean, you have to have some reason to watch the NBA. Mm-hmm. Greg writes, yes, finally. I guess this is responding to us doing a show. Thanks, guys. Missed you a lot. Not in a homosexual way. We were only gone for an extra week. We kind of consider this the off season at this point, so we're going to do less shows. We'll be back in full swing when the season is starting. Mm-hmm. Updates you've been hearing about as who we're going to draft. I've been hearing that we're going to draft one of the 4 best players in the draft. Mm-hmm. George writes, D'Angelo Russell canceled his Sixers workout today. You think he doesn't want to be drafted by them, like Okafor don't want to go to the Wolves? What are your thoughts? Are players these days looking to start a new trend, dictating where they want to play? What do you think about?
It's not a new trend. Kobe forced his way out of.
Yeah, I think they all kind of did that.
Yeah.
What do you think of players? What do you think about players doing that? Do you think that's messed up? If like Towns said, "Hey T-Wolves, I'm not going to play for you."
I would draft him anyway and say, or you could sit on the bench for 4 years, or you can play.
But it's a huge risk.
Yeah, but it's not a huge risk. What is he going to turn down? $4.5 million in 4 years of development.
What happens if you don't? What happens if he doesn't sign? Does he go back into the draft?
I have no idea what happens in that case.
Like, has it ever happened?
It'll happen to the Knicks this year, probably.
I don't know. Like from a player perspective, I mean, unless like it's one of the biggest markets. So, I mean,
but New York. What do you think about a player doing that? Is that just forgetting about being the team that's going to draft him? Is it messed up for a player to say, "I'm not going to play for this team"?
It is, but it's it's not the right attitude. But it's happened before. And,
it's super douchey.
Yeah, I agree. It's super douchey. Yeah. Alex writes, just this, looking like a dick and playing like a dick. JR has no limits. And this is J.R. Smith rode into the arena on a hands-free Segway. Because he is JR.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I mean...
if your team is in a position that they have to rely on J.R. Smith, you're in trouble. It's not a good thing.
Okay. How do I stop this?
Stop what?
You couldn't hear that?
I heard something.
It was just J.R. Smith, but it was like very loud, being like, J.R. Smith arriving on... Do you think LeBron just wants to kill him already?
I think by the end of the series he will.
Is there... They have him on a contract for one more year. Do you think some way LeBron forces him out?
No.
Rosero writes, it's 3:30 a.m. I'm drunk. I'm kind of paranoid, yet nothing I got piss on my boots yet. I don't know why. I wonder. Tell me, Mark, will we all see brown butterfly fly together?
I have no idea what any of that means.
I just realized J.R. Smith and Shumpert could have rings in less than a week.
Don't even want to entertain that idea. I hate that idea.
Any chance that the sun will blow up prior to the end of the finals?
It's just like, I mean, I never even thought of that possibility. I mean, I know the Cavs, and Warriors are tied, but it's like, even if the Cavs win, they shouldn't give them rings.
I heard that if Cleveland does win the finals, win the title, they're going to do the ring ceremony at my funeral. Rosero writes, I think that was lines from some song. Something about some butterfly song that someone else made a comment about. Rosero writes, does Mark like a fat, thick sausage in his mouth during grilling season, or does he prefer a medium rare steak? Rosero writes, what's the best pizza brand to watch during a game? Liam writes, I imagine all these messages were in the middle of the night. Liam writes, if LeBron wins this, what does it mean? Dow at his cement, he legacy as one of the greats. And how would you feel about getting Deladova or Thompson this season, if it's even possible? So where does if LeBron wins this, does this make him even with Jordan?
I think so. This is a terrible team.
Yeah, I mean, he would have 3 rings. Have been to 6.
Yeah, he's up. I mean, he'd be up there. Yeah.
I mean, obviously he'd be cemented at number 2, which I think he might already be.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing with Jordan is he never lost the finals, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's true. Would you sign Dellavedova or Thompson?
Yeah, but I heard Cleveland's really committed to Thompson. And,
yeah, Thompson's really good.
I think they're going to re-sign Dellavedova too.
You would think they'd be pretty committed to both Dell. I mean,
Yeah.
you would think if Cleveland wins, there'd be no way they bring back Kevin Love.
Right.
No, they're not bringing back Kevin Love. So.
Yeah, you should not bring back Kevin Love to Cleveland.
No,
you should
he'll
just
be
say.
in
I don't think Kevin Love wants to come. I mean, he wouldn't want to come back to the South.
Exactly. He'll be in LA.
I mean, Cleveland should say, like, we know without him we can win. So, William writes, which NBA player would Mark wish would have a wardrobe malfunction like LeBron? Oh, which player's dick do I want to see? That's a great question.
Who are you most gay for?
I don't know. There's so many dicks I want to say. William writes. William writes, did it turn Mark or Jay on when LeBron crown gold bar was shown on his TV in 1080p HD? Doc, I don't think William realized we were going to be on the show. Did it turn you on, Doc?
I still haven't seen the video, or I missed it.
Well, I guess now we know what you're going to be doing later.
I heard about like the fact that it happened.
William writes, also, is there any way we could just could everyone on the West Coast agree just not to look at the box scores online for 2 hours so we can start the games earlier?
Right.
Yeah, I know. Like they should start the games at 8 Eastern time or 8:30 because the Cavs are in the Midwest, right?
Yeah, just have the West Coast just you guys watch it whenever you want to watch it, and we watch it during a normal time and don't have the game end at 11:30. William writes, why was Mark's giggity about seeing LeBron's penis during the game? I've just been waiting for that, and now I can die. I'm so excited. William writes, fuck Jewish landlords. William's making total sense for everyone. There was a comment from a Brink show. William commented both the Brink and the Knicks show. If you listen to both, you'll not understand what he's talking about. William writes, read Pinterest questions. Jay?
I still don't know what Pinterest is.
Do we have any Instagram questions?
I'm looking right now. Carry on.
What's going on Instagram? What did you put up there? Did you put LeBron's penis up there?
Yeah, I've done nothing but dick pics on our Instagram. we're NY Knicks podcast.
We're having a contest going on our Instagram page. We're going to present a penis, and you have to get what Nick Legend's penis that was. Liam writes, after this series, it's a sad day for me. I can no longer hate LeBron James as much as my nature as a Knicks fan. He is good. The guy is great. And after a while, I think to myself, why? I wonder, will I dream? And Liam writes, did you guys see LeBron overcooked meat while he was fixing his shorts in the Golden State game? This is the first I'm hearing about that, Liam. I had no idea they showed that.
Yeah, what happened? What?
Yeah.
Instagram comments. One of them is just a picture of Porzingis.
Sweet.
Another one is, guys, have you seen the workout video for Cauley Stein? Looking good. I'm between him and Winslow.
He is looking that. Jay, did you see how many shots he made? He just could not miss.
Thank you, listener from Germany. Let's see. First and foremost, F. Isola. Second last episode was hilarious. Stats guy background noise had me dying. By the way, it's Harlem Beats. Oh, yeah, because we were calling him Harlem Butts because we couldn't read his Instagram thing. Yeah.
Stats guy, if you're out there, we enjoyed having you. Did you enjoy being on the show?
Yeah, it's been very quiet. I think he's mad at us.
He hasn't responded to us. I don't know if he thought we were being mean.
I didn't think we were being mean, but okay. I've heard that Rubio wants out of Mini. If you think Mini drafts a point guard, do you think Mini drafts a point guard at the first pick? It's also said that LA is looking at a point guard. Could Okafor and Towns drop in the draft? Call me crazy, but I think this draft is going to surprise some people.
Do you think who's Minnesota's? Who's their center again? What's his name? Stats guy, where are you?
The guy who looks like Non from Superman.
Yeah, he's pretty good. He's pretty good, at least on offensively.
He's always injured, though.
He's always injured. Yeah, I guess like if you're Minnesota, how would you pass on Towns?
Yeah.
So it seems like there's still a lot of combinations that can happen in the first 3 picks, or you think it's pretty locked down?
Well, it's pretty locked down. The only one that seems like locked down is Towns going number 1.
Okay.
Everything else seems a little bit up in the air. I mean, do you see Philly taking Okafor?
No, that would be crazy.
Because they're Philly's number 2, right? No, the Lakers are number 2, right?
Yeah, Philly's 3. They need a guard.
Yeah, so the question really is, do the Lakers take Russell and mess things up for everyone, or they take Okafor like everyone expects? Do you think the Lakers will take Okafor?
I do, but
Nikola Pekovic. That's what I was thinking.
This is going to be a real interesting draft. I can't wait.
I'd be really surprised if they don't take. This is the most interesting one we've had in a while. Not just because we have a draft pick this year and all, but
yeah.
I'd be really surprised if they don't take Okafor. Doc, would you be surprised if they don't take Okafor?
No, because I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know enough about it to be surprised.
Anything else? Any other questions from Instagram or OkCupid?
Nope, that is it.
Pinterest? What did we learn today?
We learned that playing a guy who was an all-star a year ago is better than playing a guy who is the 12th man on your team.
Are you talking about David Lee?
I am.
We learned that Cleveland, LeBron with pretty much no one else on the roster still makes a good series.
We learned that Sean Marion is still alive and he's in his late 30s.
Yeah, we should write letters to Sean Marion and be like, "Dear Sean, we're glad to hear you're still alive. Keep going."
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. And we will be back with our draft preview next week.
And during the preview, I will be going on about how good of a shooter Willie Cauley-Stein is.
And go to the New York Knicks podcast.com and look at Ian's write-ups. They're very good.
Very, very good.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, love. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. It's all over. Goodbye. Time to go. This is the end. Say goodbye.